Aloha, everyone. This is Tony with the Transformation Space. It's an interesting topic today. Today I'm going to talk about writing your own eulogy. I know it sounds a little morbid and it sounds a little crazy, but I'm doing this in one of my classes called Death and Dying, and I have found it to be a transformative experience. And since transformation is what we talk about here, I wanted to share um, some of the amazing aspects that writing your own eulogy can bring. Now, this isn't about preparing to die. There's nothing to do with that. Um, but what it does have to do with is this massive encompassing of your life up until this point. How do you see yourself now as a human? How do you see what you've experienced and what defines you? Great questions, right? This is so relevant to the narrative blog post that I have, to the reflection blog post that I had, but this is just another level of a deeper understanding within the self-discovery realm. Because what we say in a eulogy expresses a point of view and creates a picture about who we are to the people that read this or that it's read to. And this is a big deal, right? Because who we are now is different than who we may have been 5 years ago and maybe 10 years ago, 15, and as a child, right? We change as humans. So this writing this gives us this ability to look at what are the main threads of my existence, right? Ooh, this is deep. And can be scary sometimes looking at this. And the thing we need to remember about when we're doing anything that has to do with self-discovery or learning about ourselves is that it's not about right or wrong, what we should or shouldn't be doing, or how things are supposed to be. It's about what's happening inside of us. And it's a deeply personal situation, right? And only you are the one that really knows the answers to this. And we make these decisions every day on how we want to present ourselves and express ourselves to the world. And internally, what comes up, we either go with it or we change it based upon how we are going to be in each situation that we come into. So let's talk a little bit about what a eulogy might encompass, right? So it's basically a story of who we are. So if we peel back the experiences that we've had, the things that we like to do, the job that we have, the roles that we play as far as parent, sibling, professor, teacher, hairdresser, whatever, what lies beneath that? It's kind of a hard question, right? So one of the things that I did when I started this project was I went to look at the big 5 personality traits, which is agreeableness, conscientiousness, openness, extroversion, and neuroticism. And now if you look those up online, you'll see there's explanations within each of those, and based upon what levels you have of those, they're fairly consistent, which is why they call them the big 5. And I thought this would be a great place to look and see what types of personality traits have really been true throughout my life, right? And what experiences have shaped me as a person, created my beliefs, my value systems, and have really rung true to me consistently, right? So I thought back to childhood, and one of the things that my mom said to me, and this was years ago, that I asked a lot of questions, right? I was a why kid. Why? Well, I need to understand, and that's so true today. I'm super curious, lots of questions, really like to understand people on a deep level, understand the area that I'm in, the environment that I'm in. I'm keenly observational, right? So observation skills were honed as a child because for safety reasons, right? I needed to understand what was going around me. So I really paid attention to everything. I heard everything. I listened to everything. I saw everything. And I also learned that, what people said wasn't necessarily the truth based upon what they did. And so for me, I am definitely I live by the word speak or actions speak louder than words. It is a truth to me. I've seen it as I've lived my life. It's something that I believe in my heart is real. and I try very much to align my actions and my words. I definitely do not say something unless I believe it to be true, and that includes complimenting people. I'm not going to compliment someone on something that they're doing that I feel is causing danger to someone else, being disrespectful. I'm not going to do it. And that's my choice because that's how I choose to live. But this is something that has rung true for me throughout my life. I'm also someone who takes responsibility for my actions. It's really important for me to do that. Now, I'm not saying that I've been perfect at this throughout my life, but I can tell you that, again, as a child, I have a story of in fourth grade, I was part of a creative writing project contest, if you will, and my grandmother was visiting. And she really wanted to help me with this project, and she did. And I got a great grade on it. And the first thing I did was I said that it wasn't my writing. My grandmother did it, or she helped me. And I just cannot take responsibility or credit for things that I have not fully done. I can take partial credit, but this is something that is true to me because I have this strong desire to represent myself as an individual. And that's a difficult thing sometimes, but I have to do it. And the moments in my life that I have been unable to do that have been some of the lowest points that I can remember. So expressing my individuality is something that is definitely who I am. Taking responsibility for the things that I do and giving responsibility to the things that other people do is definitely something that runs clear to me. And that's fundamentally part of my persona, right? And so if we go back to the big 5 personality traits, I'm generally an agreeable person, sometimes to my own detriment. I do like to believe that the goodness of people is true, and I have allowed people in my life that have taken advantage of me and have maybe not treated me well because I wanted to believe that deep down inside there is goodness. And so I've learned to create boundaries around that, but that's something that I am. I'm also a conscientious person. I like to be attentive to the people that are around me. I have learned to balance that with taking care of myself. Totally open, I think that goes along with my curiosity. The neuroticism aspect is an interesting personality trait because high neuroticism is a lot of out of control and difficult emotional control and emotional issues. And I can tell you that personality trait has been heavily affected during addiction experiences. And so addiction experiences are also a piece of my life experience that I would include in my eulogy because it has shaped my view of the world and my experience. So the levels of neuroticism changed based upon where I was in experiencing addiction. And then finally, how does this kind of come out as a person? Well, my experience is the next thing that kind of come into play in this and how they shape me, right? So I've had the great experience of having a beautiful house in the suburbs with a partner and cars and clothes and money and a business, and I've also been homeless. In my younger years, I spent time short, but time living in my car for a while and couch surfing. So I have had this life experience of great extremes, highs and lows, having everything and losing everything. And so what this has done to me over the time is it has built this sense of empathy and compassion for others in other situations. And so I try to, that is part of my life. That is something that I would talk about of me as a person. It has formed my belief system. And again, I have to be protective of how I express that piece because I can let it overtake me and give too much of myself. It's a fine balance. So those are some ideas about how you might write a eulogy about yourself, but it's not something that you need to share with everybody. It's something that you can keep for yourself. It gives you this potential to say, am I doing what I wish I was doing? If I don't know what that is, that's okay too, right? Because knowing that you're not going in the direction you want to go is enough to pause and take some space to find out what might be. And so when you write a eulogy, this becomes clear, right? What have I done with my life? Have I spent time with the people I love? Have I spent time doing the things that give me purpose? Have I spent time being myself? Do I live in an environment that I desire to live in? And if not, how might I change that? It's a hard one sometimes, right? Because we don't always know what steps to take to make changes. Changes for ourselves, then they affect people around us, and we want to be respectful of that. And am I safe? I always come back to safety. Safety allows us to be totally authentic and vulnerable and see the truth of who we are. So reflecting on all of this gives us the opportunity to transform, which is the whole point, right? So take this exercise, look at what you're writing about. Is it the things that you have? Is it the roles that you play? Is it the stuff that you like to do? Is that what makes you a person? Or is it the personality traits beyond that? Your beliefs and values, the way you interact with people. What is it that you determine of being who you are? So if you choose to do this, I give you great support, because it's an amazing undertaking if you can just sit with it and try not to make it what you think it should be, and truly be honest with yourself about how you've lived and how you want to live and who you are. Until next time.